Hi everyone, it's Ravine here to do the weekly reading from the 25th to the 1st of October already, and happy fall equinox to everyone. I pulled two sets of cards, one from the Starseed Oracle and one from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And the first card that came out is Child of the Cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. So with this card, there is a sense of feeling alone, feeling separate, isolated, maybe not really sure how to show up in the world, in your world. It seems to really be highlighting the relationship of the inner and outer worlds, or our inner and outer worlds. And we often don't see or cannot see that we are a reflection of all that we experience in our outer world. And all that we experience in our outer world is in turn a reflection of ourselves and what we are experiencing internally. Being triggered is often an offering to see where we have not brought conscious awareness within ourselves and have yet to take responsibility for those reflections. The universal intelligence lies within us all, just the same as it does within a seed or a nut of a tree, of the bloom of a flower. And if we are trying to control our experience, we may miss the magic. We may miss those conversations with spirit. The next card that came out is Breath of the Cosmos. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So this card really feels like it's affirming this with the idea that we are trying to micromanage our experience. We are not necessarily trusting what is unfolding around us. Perhaps we are doubting or rejecting guidance, the guidance within, or ideas of peace and joy, letting go of tensions or fear. And we are not seeing how we have the ability to create paradise within, and in so, without. The focus often becomes about the outside world, the dogmas, the fear of that of what we cannot control. And we lose sight of our dharma and what we are meant to be creating now. And how this really changes our experience, how we are able to make a beautiful space around us and help others do the same when we're able to step into that space. So when you surrender your personal will or the need to control, you might find a path that was previously hidden before, one that was darkened by fear, that is now illuminated. So it really takes stepping out of that fear and really settling back into yourself, into the now moment, to perhaps see something that wasn't there before or you could not see. The next card that presented itself was Inner Earth, and it reads, "You'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings." So I feel like this card is speaking really not so much to the lore of the physical inner earth, but more so to your inner being and symbolizing your reality that is focusing on the outer world. So I feel like it's speaking very much to the obstacles that are blocking your vision to seeing other truths, other realities, other states of being. So this card in reverse is really presenting the idea that a shift in focus can change or open you up to other realizations, perhaps to signs and symbols that guide you out of that feeling of being in a rut or being blocked. Sometimes learning something new can open you to a whole new world of inspiration. And the idea here is the same. Perhaps being open and shifting focus can indeed then in turn open you to a whole new world we previously weren't aware of. The next card that popped out is the 7 Star Sisters, which is the Pleiades cluster. This card is really illuminating the beauty that wants to be seen around you. It's speaking to birthing creations, tapestry of life, expressions is what it says. This is the expression of the divine that we miss or suppress in our day to day. So, what about the beauty and expression within? Is that being expressed? This card is speaking to the creative birth that lies within. When you were a child, that creative expression was a daily release, and now as adults, it's often suppressed. So, when you are able to release that creative expression, you move out of time and into a timeless state of joy, embracing the moment, fulfillment, and pleasure, which are the next cards that follow. So even though our soul is begging to release that expression, we often set aside those inspirations and say something like, I'll read that book later or do that creative project another day. And so we express that we don't have time. But is that true? Perhaps time is what you make. The next cards that came out were embracing, fulfillment, and pleasure. So I'm seeing the beauty in reflection, cleansing in the water, taking time to be in nature, watch a sun rise or set. And I'm seeing the fruit of these moments lasting longer than any instant gratification type of pleasure. These are the moments that fill your cup, recharge you, open you to new opportunities or ways of seeing life. True pleasure is a journey within and not one simply of carnal desires. It is through the threshold of the mind that we step into the idea of true pleasure. So above the pleasure card is the card going forward. It is a beautiful mirror card to the one below. It's depicting a sun over the moon, and it's also a much clear, crisp landscape versus the pleasure one that really appears to almost be animated and unclear. And the path on going forward is also really looking like it's climbing up to the sky. So I really feel like pleasure is very much the key to this reading, and it's really asking, how can we step into that true pleasure? And not just the pleasure or simply the pleasure that we receive from the outside world, but the pleasure that we ourselves create. I heard a really brilliant quote this week that says, "You are not what you consume, but you are what you feed." And I think that's amazing because we consume so many things in our life. We consume ideas, we consume, visual stimulation, audio stimulation, we consume food. We are always consuming. And so it's the illusion of perhaps our identity being what we consume, but that's not necessarily true. And in fact, the idea from this quote being that you are in fact what you feed. So the questions this week I have posed are, can you surrender the mind and observe all the magic that surrounds you? How can you allow the universal intelligence to move through you without trying to force it, but let it show you what you need to see? Can you see past your personal agendas and those that are around you and soften into a state of trust to your own path? Can you do something different this week that might shift your focus? Can you open yourself to seeing things in a different or new way? What creative expressions are you being called to birth? How can you make time for inspiration to take form? And can you switch from what can I consume to what can I feed this week? And the last question is, what can you do to feed your soul? And I will leave you with these questions. Have a beautiful, blessed week.